Hey everybody, Chris with Killer Arcade Games here. The shed is almost done. As you can see, the place is painted. We've got lights. I have temporary electricity. We've got blinds, no air conditioning yet, no main electric hookup, but it's almost done, and I thought I'd show you guys around and see what I've done so far. So let's talk about the lights really quick. I have them both on switches, and there's two sets of lights in here, and I'll explain why in just a second. Let's turn on the first set. They are on dimmers, which is nice. So on this side of the building is going to be where actually my chair will sit there, where I can hang out and relax in here a little bit. Over here is where the drums are gonna sit. And I figured this side's not gonna have arcades. So if I wanna have light over here and not on the arcade side, which is over here, or have the lights a different brightness or whatever, I can do that now. So I can turn on this second set. Makes it a lot brighter in here, but we've got one here, and one here. Now we put them in a weird configuration from just looking at it, but that's because the games are gonna sit against the wall here and against the wall there and one over here. So we didn't want to have a bunch of bright lights looking down on game screens. So it's possible Rush, Hydro Thunder, Killer Instinct, a couple other things are gonna be sitting on this wall, and you still may see a bright light like that reflecting. So we can take and dim these lights, which will be really nice. I think I found a pretty happy point for the lights about right there. Of course, the camera's adjusting for the brightness in the room right now, or the darkness in the room is trying to make it brighter. So the light up here that's currently out is an entry light, essentially. I'll come in the door, I'm supposed to flip this light switch, which is supposed to turn that on, and yeah, I'll have some light right when I walk in, so when I've turned them all on. This other switch at the bottom here turns on my little porch light. So when I'm coming from the house at night and I don't want to have the porch light on at all times, actually this is going to be on at all times, but it's set up through HomeKit where I can just tell Siri to turn on the porch light, and then I can turn it off. That way I don't have bugs all over the door and annoying the heck out of me. Let's do a little shed tour from the inside here. We went with like gray walls and a white ceiling. It was an idea that I never would have come up with. But luckily I had my wife and my neighbor be like, try that out, we'll see what that looks like. Now, yeah, the floor is a tan color, that's how it came. I don't know if I'm gonna paint it. You can kind of see it's a little dirty, by the way. It was horrifically dirty after all the drywall dust got on it. And this is about as clean as I could get it after, I don't know, 4 hours of me on my knees scrubbing and mopping and using power tool attachments to try to get this dirt out. So it may just have to look kind of dirty for a while. A little bit of paint here and there that somehow got through the protective plastic. Games are gonna be sitting on top of that, so I'm not too worried about it. By the way, I apologize for the echo in here. It's horrible right now. I hope it's not too bad on the microphone. Maybe once I get games in here and get my stuff in here, the echo won't be nearly as bad, but I may have to get some of those foam things that go on the walls. All right, let's start right as you walk in the door to the left. Here's where the drums are gonna sit. This, I know a lot of people don't want to hear about the drums, by the way, but I have to put them out here. It's part of a deal. So the drums are going to be in this corner. I actually just bought two 50-inch TVs. One's going to be mounted above the drum kit here, so when I'm sitting on this side in my chair, which is I'm planning to put here, I can watch TV, play video games like, Xbox stuff, things like that I don't really do anymore, but I may start doing more of it if I have a nice area to hang out in. That's gonna sit here. We've got an outlet here. I'm gonna have my nerdy rock band lights go above there. I've also pre-wired 4 spots for speakers. I don't have super nice speakers for them, just an old surround sound set that I'm just gonna put in all the corners. And that, I don't know, I figured that would be nice to have music in here if I want to and not have to have speakers taking up floor space. So this is kind of where everything comes into the building or pre-wires in. This is all the network ports that are in the room now. There's actually 6 of them, which is more than I have. I only bought an 8 port switch for in here, but I don't think I need them all plugged in at the moment. We have the speaker wire coming in here. Here's one of the Cat 6 jacks. The reason I chose black covers is just because, why not? Keep it dark in here, keep them kind of hidden. You're probably asking, why didn't you get black outlets then too? Well, the reason is, I couldn't find them. They were just, not really available at the time at Lowe's, and we had to hurry this up, so I kind of figured a little contrast will be nice. We did decide to put an outlet up here because originally I was gonna have a single TV that was just gonna sit here and be on a swivel that I can turn this way for playing Rock Band with the drums, turn this way for watching TV. But the problem with that is it's not gonna be ideal, I realized. I didn't wanna do it temporarily, so I just said, screw it, I'm gonna buy the 50-inch TVs. The other 50 inch is gonna go here, so if I'm sitting here playing drums, I can play my Rock Band stuff here. Yeah, I still play Rock Band. I know I'm kind of a nerd, but it's really a fun game, especially when you have a big drum kit and it feels like you're really playing the songs. Because once you play at the expert level, you're essentially pretty much playing the actual drums to that song. Let's take a minute to appreciate all the outlets I have. This was not my idea. My neighbor, who is an electrician, who was really smart about it, said, you know you're gonna need more. Let's just put more. He just went ahead and bought more when he was getting all the parts, and he said, we're just gonna put a bunch in here. I said, okay, good thinking, because I wouldn't have done that. We also have a breaker for every 2 outlets, essentially. So 1, 2, I believe these are on their own breaker, if I'm not mistaken. Then we've got 1, 2 also on their own breaker. 3, 4 on their own breaker. You know, it just keeps going and going around the room. And we have like 6 breakers, I believe. So I think I'll have plenty of power in here, especially once we actually get it connected to the house. And behind me, I have IKEA blinds / curtains, more like shades. My original plan was to actually put real curtains and real blinds in here, and I realized, why spend all that money? I don't really want a lot of natural light coming in. I like the option of having it, and this kind of gives me both. So I don't want to start thanking people for donations and stuff because it'll take forever. But thank everyone who has given me a donation. Bill Wu, subscriber and member of the channel, sent me a $100 donation on PayPal the other day. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go buy blinds with it. And that's exactly what I did. So let's look at how these work. All right, so here they are. They're real simple. You just grab this here, lift up. And of course, I can't do it while being on camera, but there you go. I can let a lot of light in if I'd like. I can open the window, but most times this is pretty much gonna be the default setting. Pull them down, leave them down. They kind of blend with the wall. They're a gray color. They let a little bit of light through. Again, the camera makes it look way more bright than it is, but I have lights in here. I want to keep it kind of dark in here to help keep it cool in here. And by the way, I totally forgot to mention, the air conditioner is going to go up here, the mini split unit, and blow across the whole room. Thank you again, Bill Wu, for the donation. Very, very nice of you. And thanks again to everybody who has donated. Thank you to the members of the channel who are giving me a little bit of money every month. And thank you to you guys who are just watching the video now. Just watching it gives me a tiny amount of ad revenue that all adds up to a little something at the end of each month, which keeps this project moving forward. I honestly never thought something like this could happen. I dreamt this idea up like a year ago. I think I did it on a live stream. I was like, it would be kind of cool to have a shed in the backyard that I can actually put all my games in. And yeah, that would be cool, but there's no way I can afford that, I kept thinking. And well, now here we are. So thank you guys for that. Let's continue the shed tour. So as we move on, nothing really exciting. We've got a bunch of outlets. This is where the real arcade cabinets are gonna sit. So I wanted to have enough power for all of those. We've got another network port. It's hard to see since it is black. Let's zoom in on it and see. Oh, I can see there's a little bit of paint imperfections there. Don't look too closely at it. We didn't stress over the paint, mainly because there's no texture on the walls. We just wanted it to look decent. We sanded, and did more sanding, and we ended up with this. As long as it's not really, really bright in here, like natural sunlight beaming in, you're not gonna see the imperfections in our sand job or our tape and float job. I did pay a guy to tape and float, and I really can't see it too well. You might be able to see it there. Little imperfections like that, but it's hard to spot it when you're actually just in here hanging out. There's gonna be games against the wall, you're not gonna notice it. I had to cut costs at some places. Up here we have another pre-wire for speaker wire. I think I'm gonna put one arcade one up here behind one of the racing cabinets. Another outlet down here, more blinds, curtains, whatever you wanna call them. Another speaker up here, and of course here's our main breaker thing, which I'm glad we put it high because the arcade one-ups are gonna sit here and I'll need to access this safely if something goes on. I think we're probably gonna rearrange the breaker setup, but right now this is how it is, just so we can have temporary power. But yeah, 6 breakers. I never thought of putting 6 breakers in. And I think there's gonna be another one in here for the air conditioning. So the air conditioning only needs a 20 amp breaker. And yeah, here's one of the cheap speakers. Got some drywall dust on it right now. But here's one of the cheap old surround speakers I'm gonna use temporarily. It's just gonna go up there on the wall. I don't need anything too fancy. Eventually I may wanna do in-wall speakers, but I'm not worried about that right now. I need to get a subwoofer in here because these speakers have very little bass. So here's another network port up close. These are Cat 6 ports. We did 2 per wall. I didn't really plan that, my neighbor did. He did all this stuff. Massive thank you to him because I wouldn't have probably been able to do this. I could have done something similar, but not nearly as smart or as elegant, and he was able to get me some of this stuff for free. And you know, he does this stuff for a living, so he probably had extra, let's just say that. But they all run back to one spot. It'll be nice and clean. I can plug in a cabinet here for Shed-Cade now. All right, and now we're back to the front door. There's really not a lot to see right now because it's an empty building, but it's nice to have so much progress done on it. We've got an attic scuttle hole here in case we need to peek up in there. And honestly, it's probably a good thing we did put it here because this light is not working. We fixed it recently. My neighbor got up there and reconnected it and made sure the connection was tight. So then I came in here today, turned the switch on, it flickered for a second and stopped working. So I need to replace it, I guess. And that hole being right there is gonna be very helpful, I think. All right, well, I guess that's it for this Shed-Cade update. There's still a few more things that need to be done to the building, like hooking up the electrical, getting my main panel on my house upgraded, which I think I finally found an electrician who's gonna do it. He's already got the panel, he's waiting on a permit, so that's good. We need to dig the trench that's gonna go to the house, of course, and dig another trench that's gonna go to the house on this side and hook up the internet to the main house. It's gonna go up through my attic, down into my master closet, which has all my networking stuff in there. And actually today, after I get done recording this, I'm gonna go outside and try to use mobile home anchors to anchor this building to the ground, give it a little bit more stability or protection against the wind. My house is in an area that's pretty high up. We're actually so high that we have a water tower on our street. And we do get some pretty big storms here, usually in spring and fall, and we're getting close to fall, and I'm just paranoid a huge breeze is gonna blow through here during a storm, or even a microburst, which we get occasionally, and push this building off its foundation, or just screw something up in general. And that really worries me because we put so much time, money, and effort into this building that I don't wanna see it get destroyed by one storm. Plus, once my stuff's in here, I'd hate to see my killer instinct get destroyed by a storm, or things like that are not really easily replaceable. And some of the storms we get, which we've already had one since the building's been here, have such strong wind gusts that it rips my fence down. The good news is the last time that did happen, the building didn't seem to budge and it didn't have all this weight that's currently in it now, no drywall or anything, but still I wanna be safe rather than sorry, so I'm gonna try to drive massive 30-inch anchors into the ground and strap this building down. Okay, well, thank you again to all the people who've donated. Massive thank you to my neighbor who's donated hundreds of labor hours to this building. He is amazing help with this thing. Maybe one day I can have him on the channel, maybe when it's done, just to tell him thank you and all that, but he's just been a massive help with this, so thank you to my unnamed neighbor. That's all for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, leave me a comment down below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.